What's up, everybody? How are you all doing today? Just a heads up, I think I can only see the YouTube chat in my chat stream. So if you're on LinkedIn or Twitch, apologies, I might not be able to see your messages. So feel free to, jump over and heckle me from YouTube, obviously. But otherwise, I'll do my best to try and get it back online as we go through the stream. But I'm not ignoring you guys, not ignoring the Twitch fam or the LinkedIn fam or the new Twitter fam as well. So we're connected to Twitter, X, Elon Musk's secret lab. I don't know. Whatever we're connected to, what's up Twitter as well. Good to have you on board. And yes, it's good to be here. All right, first message of the day, failed to demonize. This is how I feel in the morning when I don't have coffee and I roll out of bed, feed my cats. My brain's like, nope, not happening. So all good. Do I need a cool chair like that to be a good ethical hacker? I definitely think like you're going to be spending a lot of time in your chair. I mean, okay, I spend some of my time standing up because I'm lucky enough to have a standing desk as well. But if you're going to spend like, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, like I do, sitting in your chair, you need a comfortable chair that's going to look after your body as well. So, like, you don't want to be having back pain and not being able to move. So, I feel like a good chair is essential. You don't necessarily have to have an expensive chair, but a good chair that gives you some support, 100%, I think is uh, is important. So all good. All right. Let me excuse me. I'm kind of coming off the back of a cold a little bit, so apologies. I'm gonna do my best not to like cough and sneeze into the microphone, but but all good. Yeah, if you want to get connected on LinkedIn, just search TCM, or you can search for me. Feel free to follow and connect. Always appreciated. TCM's quite easy to find on LinkedIn, so all good. Um, when you people, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is my I don't know. Sorry if I offended you, Twitch. Twitch is like the OG of the cyber mental streams, so respect to the old fam, and all good. Um, Real hackers stand on their desk. Good to have you in the stream, Tyler. How's it going? Standing on my desk now because my cats would just be like, I don't know, they'd look at me funny, and then I'd trip over them, and then I'd break my arm or something. That would be bad. So all good. Um, how am I doing? I'm good. Yeah, I was a little bit sick yesterday, but all good today. I did some mountain biking over the weekend, and that was a lot of fun, especially since it was quite frosty as well. So every time I'm going down like these trails, like you just feel the back wheel kind of slipping and sliding everywhere. So, but no broken limbs. Survived another day, so all good. And we have a fun little announcement as well. So we're releasing a new set, and officially the announcement stream is on Friday. So me, Zach, and Heath are gonna chat to you guys about the new certification and give you all the details. But I can confirm you heard it here first. That is the Practical Junior Web Tester. So we have a web application cert coming out. And I spent a lot of days and nights building, a nice little application for you guys to put your skills to the test, and also hopefully give you some confidence. Because a lot of people come to me and they're like, "Hey, am I ready for bug bounty? Am I ready for this? Can I apply for this job?" You know, and I've put in things that I think are real world, and if you can do that, then yes, you are ready, in my opinion. So it should be all good. You can use any tools you want as well, which is quite nice. So no restrictions. Use anything you like at your disposal, except for low orbit iron cannon because denial of service is out of scope. But otherwise, you're all good. Oh, I saw a good to see you again, Chameleon. Am I taking part in the CTF event? Yes, I have a secret heckler team. I'm. Is Andrew here? Where are you, Andrew? You're usually here in the chat. So me and Andrew started a chill team. We'll be doing a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm not around for the whole thing, but I will definitely be taking a look at some of the challenges and having some fun. So if you want in the team, talk to Andrew. He's our team captain, and yeah, it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been ages since I've done like a live CTF, so all good. The cats would be inspired and then join you on top of the desk. They literally are always on top of my desk, like walking in front of my monitor, knocking over my cups of tea, trying to like both sit on me and then starting like scrapping about who gets to like sleep on my chair or on me. Yeah, the cats, feral, crazy cats. Gotta love them. Um, do, 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 do. Can we talk about how expensive certs are and then maybe a path to take to efficiently transition into a role with a company that will pay for OSCP? Yeah, certs are expensive. And also, I mean, it's kind of relative depending on where you are in the world as well, because as far as I know, no companies do regional pricing. So obviously for, where you take the UK where, or the US, for example, where the wages are higher than other parts of the world, it's very different. And I think regional pricing it should be a thing, in my opinion. But yeah, what I'd do is, I suppose, I mean, there are cheaper options, of course. Like, all the TCM sets are much cheaper than the OFSAC sets. And there are also other training providers as well. And if I would say you're more likely to get training if you're working at a bigger enterprise, because they tend to have more like set processes and things like that. That's not to say small companies don't offer training. Of course they do, but I think it tends to come more of a standard package with larger companies. So if I was you, yeah, if you could transition into a role, even if it's like an entry level role at a slightly larger company, you're probably likely to be able to get more training out of it. But you really need to look at the package and the jobs that you're applying for sure. If I could, I'd make all training free, but I need to be able to feed my cats. So so all good. And here's Andrew. What's up, Andrew? We're just saying we're on the heckler team for the CTF. So if you guys want in, this is the man you need to speak to. He's in charge of everything. So all good. Let me keep coming down the list. Alex and the hecklers, because I'm not the heckler, right? So that's the thing. I'm everybody else can heckle. It's all good. Let me keep scrolling. Yeah, make sure the lower orbital ion cannon's out of scope. It is definitely like it's called out. It's like, hey, no, don't denial of service us. Come on. I mean, to be fair, you get like an isolated application. So really, if you do denial of service, you're just going to have to reset your own environment. It's not a shared environment, the exam. So everything is yours. You don't have to worry about other students coming in and messing your stuff up. And you don't have to worry if you do break something. Of course, that's a great learning experience as well. So you can then go in, reset your environment, and then, and learn from that. Because at the end of the day, we wanted our exams not just to be a validation of skills, but also a learning experience. So me and the team, we've done our best to kind of like make it as though like it's your first web app pen test, for example. You have a full ROE, rules of engagement, you have a full brief and everything like that. So yeah, it's good. It should be fun. I mean, I like to think it's fun. It's probably a little stressful because it's an exam, but yeah, all good. And yeah, if you haven't checked out Tyler's YouTube channel, by the way, definitely check him out. He's chilling out here in the chat as well. So always good to see you, Tyler. So you can answer, if you have any questions then for him, then you can drop them back in. But yeah, definitely check it out at, I don't know how to, I'll find it later. Once we switch to the VM, you can easily find them. If you search for like the Hack Smarter, or search for Tyler on LinkedIn. You should be all good. We need to do like a collaborative stream soon, Tyler, for sure. Maybe we can do one over Christmas. Although I assume you might be busy with the TryHackMe Christmas challenges, so we'll see what your schedule looks like. What's up, Yusuf? Yeah, it's been a little while. How are you doing? Good to see you back again. In a few steps, can we summarize the roadmap for bug bounty? This is okay. I would say there's two things you need. One, you can either do like our bug bounty course, or you can go through like the Portswigger Academy to get like a really good understanding of vulnerabilities and how to exploit them. Because if you can't find and exploit vulnerabilities, then obviously bug bounties can be really, really hard. And then two, you spend a lot of time learning about recon. And I think recon is probably one of the biggest things that isn't taught in too many places, because for web app pen testers, a lot of the time we know exactly what the scope is, or we might have access to source code or internal stuff. And so that's, yeah, I would say definitely recon. So Jason Haddock's, check out his stuff on YouTube. Check out his talks. And I think after doing that, so you're basically good to go. You just got to dive in, be consistent, and then I would definitely say like spend some of your time studying, but a lot of your time, once you kind of got the basics down, a lot of your time doing bug bounty. Don't get stuck into doing like all of your time studying and never feeling ready. You've got to dive in at some point. So you're all good. How's the hardware hacking coming on? I'm a little behind, so I'm doing it with a friend, and an old colleague of mine, and I'm about a module behind where he is. So yeah, it's still coming along. I was going to like put some videos out, but my PC died and I lost a ton of footage, and so I'm gonna reshoot some stuff once I'm a little bit further on. But my whole like first two modules where I kind of like shot some like me doing some stuff and like doing like the wrap up of each chapter, all in the bin, unfortunately, as my PC died. So but yeah, stay tuned. There'll be an update. And since it's like Black Friday, I bought a ton of books as well. This one I got. This one's somebody, Evan, from our team from TCM, suggested this book. So I'm about to read this. I'll probably make a start on it this evening, and then hopefully I'll finish it by the week. But after somebody suggested it to me, I looked it up, and there's a ton of like productivity YouTubers all like praising it. So this I think should be a good read. And then I've got JavaScript for Hackers arriving maybe today, and that's gonna take up my weekend. So I'm a big fan of Gareth, who the author. He's also a researcher at Portswigger. So I'm really looking forward to reading this book. So all good. Oh yeah, thanks for the heads up. Jason Haddock's Arubius is on the ball. Thank you very much. So definitely just search him on YouTube. You'll find really good recon stuff on there. So all right. Google certification. I think it's okay. It's quite good. I think if you're starting in cybersecurity and you don't know where you want to be yet, I think it's quite good. The web chapters, I found a lot of mistakes in them. I did report them all, so hopefully they've been fixed. But there were quite a few, well, like I say, quite a few mistakes in some of the technical chapters. I obviously went through the web chapter in much deeper detail because that's like my background. But otherwise, the rest of the modules were pretty good. And if you want to be in the world of cybersecurity, but you're not sure, maybe you don't want to be a pen tester, or maybe you're thinking, GRC looks interesting, or you want to go into like project management for cybersecurity projects, or even if maybe if you want to be like a SOC analyst or something like this, I think it's a good course, and I think yeah, it's there's a lot of good information in there for sure. Let me keep scrolling down. Oh, I can see tons of pinned messages as well. So let me switch over to that. Chat's going wild today. Good to see you all. What is my favorite course? Oh, good question. Okay, so my favorite course that we provide as a company. I don't know. I don't want to be like my own course and say that because that's kind of bad. I think the OSINT courses. No, it's got to be PH. I think PH is my favorite course because it covers so many things and it's so much fun to go through, especially like Heath's breakdown of Active Directory and the attacks and how practical it is. I think PH is probably my favorite course from TCM. Although there are still some courses I need to go through. The the API one, I created the API one, but I feel like it's quite special to me because it was my first course, and I think APIs are underrepresented in the world because like 80% or 90% of the internet runs on APIs, so it's a really serious thing that everybody should know about if you're a web app pen tester. And it's not much of a transition to understand and break them. So yeah, it's all good. Ah. Oh yeah, I'm terrible with names. All right, hold on. Let me give this one a try. Arubius? Is that it? Arubius? Arubius? Arubius. I d- I'm sorry. Yeah, everybody, like before you join this stream, create an account with an easy to read name that, people like me who are obviously, a bit strange can understand. Um See Ange in the chat. How's it going, Ange? Good to see you, as always. Let me keep scrolling down. Hey, good luck with your exam tomorrow. Don't get lots of sleep. Don't go crazy. Don't overthink it. I haven't taken the SANS exams. If it's multiple choice, never change your answer. Usually your instincts are correct, so don't at the end go back and change it. But I'm not sure. Maybe it's a practical exam or something like this. But yeah, either way, good luck. Hopefully you'll smash it, and then all good. Let me keep scrolling down in the chats. Okay, this is a weird question. Like not as in weird, but like this is a situational question or like tricky to answer question. Um so in my experience, how long should it take? It's hard to say like from what to what, like if you're transitioning from another role, for example. So let's say you're a sysadmin transitioning into cybersecurity, or if you're a new grad going for your first job. I mean, average, or do you mean like from deciding you want to be in cybersecurity, starting to study, and then going into your first job? So, like, I think Tibbs also mentioned this. Like, we're in the weird thing where, like, my first security job was 8 or 9 years ago when you could basically walk into any security job with minimal experience because there was nobody. And now it's becoming quite competitive. So even though there is still a skills gap, there are more people applying and more people coming into the industry. So yeah, more competitive. Um, from zero to like your first job, depending on where you live in the world, which is a funny thing to say. I think if you have a technical background, maybe like 6 months to a year is fair. If you, let's say, I don't know, you owned a shop or you were an accountant or something else, I think maybe up to 2 years could take to like study, get your certifications, and then and get your first job. But honestly, I know people who've done it in like 2 weeks, so yeah, this is a really difficult question, but it shouldn't take too long if you stay on the right path and just do the right things. That's really the trick, for sure. Zach says his favorite course is OSINT. Yeah, I was about to say that. It is a fun course for sure. And I think a lot of people underestimate OSINT. It's easy to kind of like get started with OSINT, but it's actually a very difficult skill to be good at or adept at, to kind of like master. So I feel like a lot of people have some OSINT skills and they're like, oh, OSINT's easy. But actually, it's not easy. It's just easy to get started because you can just go to tools and start searching stuff and you get results basically. So it's quite a subtle skill, which is quite nice. And that's a fun course, 100%, for sure. Let me keep scrolling down. Yeah, I will do at some point. We have done a bunch of Hack the Box machines in the past. I need to check if my membership's still active, for sure. I will queue some up. It's just I'm trying to get my TryHackMe ranking up, so I gotta grind those points. and then all good. No background music until my PC's fixed, unfortunately. So you just have to listen uh, to me. Although, if you want, the playlist is kicking around somewhere. I do have music for myself because I hate listening to myself. But I need to figure out how to get it on stream because we're using like Restream. The setup is a little bit tricky. So I need a second machine to do it. All right. How are we doing for time? A few more minutes of questions, then we'll dive in. What's my favorite security podcast? It's called the Application Security Podcast. Let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, it's from Security Journey, Application Security Podcast. And not just because I was a guest on it once. I actually really like this podcast because it talks about things like insecure design and everything throughout like the application development lifecycle rather than just like penetration testing. So I would say that's my favorite. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts though. I know there are a lot of really good security ones out there, but I don't have the time, unfortunately. Yeah, only a bit strange. I think. Am I only a bit strange? You guys can vote. You can choose from 1 to 10. All right, so let me keep do. Oh, nice shout out. I don't know if you saw Tiberius's LinkedIn post. There was a nice little code snippet, like code review one. But if you're not following, you can check out and you can go through the interview questions and all sorts of stuff. It's a nice way to kind of learn a little bit of extra stuff each day and have a little challenge. So definitely worth it. Oh, this is a good question. Is there a topic in the cybersecurity/IT space that you're dreading learning? For me, it's PowerShell. I know it's 100% worth it, but I can't bring myself to sit down and learn it. So yeah, for me, my PowerShell is not very strong. I kind of just learned it ad hoc as I needed it. I didn't sit down and learn it per se, or I didn't put time into learning it, which is probably why, again, it's not that good. But I can get by, which is quite useful and what you need really. Stuff that I'm dreading learning. I mean, I did spend a little bit of time learning some assembly. And assembly itself isn't actually that difficult, but understanding it, like when you've just got tons and tons of instructions and trying to actually translate it into your head, into what's going on is very, very difficult. But, the instructions themselves are pretty straightforward, for example. And the understanding registers is also quite straightforward. So that is quite tricky. What am I dreading learning? Java. Probably Java. And that's it. That's all I have to say. Oh, sorry for hating on Java. Java's fine. It's all good. There's nothing wrong with Java. But I feel you on PowerShell. I think PowerShell is quite not very intuitive for me personally. So I also feel like it's a bit of a funny one. Is programming advanced necessary in hacking or not? So I think it is. I think like if you want to be a good pen tester or a good, web app pen tester or red teamer, I think programming is important. And of course, you can get by without programming, and lots of people do, and lots of people, lots of people kind of, just don't do any programming, and that's totally okay. There's no right or wrong way to to do your journey through cybersecurity. But honestly, I feel like you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't learn some programming. And really, it's just learning the fundamentals, getting to grips with some basic bash or basic scripts, and being able to kind of understand the flow of code. I think it's quite important for sure. Let me keep scrolling down. Oh yeah, networking is super important. I feel like though, kind of. I think networking is more important now than it used to be, because I didn't do any networking for like the first 8 years of my career, and then I started at like TCM, and now I do a lot of networking because I kind of have like a outward facing job because content creation and all that. But before that, honestly, I did literally none for almost a decade. So you don't have to, but it definitely helps. And as you say, it helps shorten the time. That's a good one to do. So all good. Let me keep scrolling down. All right, let's take 3 more questions. And I can see so many. We will pick up some more as we go through. So all good. Um, do, 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 do. This is a good question. Do you have to go to your repository for searching for sensitive files? I had a CTF kick my butt because I didn't search for a password vault file in my things to search for. Yeah, sometimes like it depends on the situation. But if I'm doing a pen test for a company, of course, I will look at like their public repositories and things like that, see if I can find information. And same if you're on an internal team. Before pushing code and things like that, making sure. I mean, you can just use your tools like Trufflehog and stuff to find secrets and keys and things like that that you don't want pushed. Yeah, I think it's an important part. It should be on your to-do list or checklist, but it's not always needed. So good question. All right, 2 more questions. Let me keep scrolling down. Sorry, I'm not sharing the music with you. All right, so let's take this one. Yeah, still broken PC, unfortunately. Is Hack the Box good for beginners? I think if you approach it in a smart way and you prioritize like following walkthroughs over, if you are a beginner and you're just starting out and you're following walkthroughs, I think it's good. But honestly, I wouldn't throw yourself into boxes, for like 10 hours a day being completely stuck because you're not using your time wisely, if that makes sense. At the beginning, you need to be gathering as much knowledge as you can and taking as many notes as you can. So you start off as a sponge, right? You need to absorb as much information as possible. And then after that, you can start doing stuff and then you start to squeeze the sponge and you process that information and become more experienced. So all good. But it's not bad. It's just how you use the tool, really. So all good. Let me come down to the bottom. So apologies if I've missed your question. I will come back to some of the questions. And let's see. Okay, so it looks like we're all good. Okay, let me switch over to here. Come to my VM and let's boot up this machine. So I'm just going to log in. Hopefully my VM will be a little bit faster today than last week. We had a bit of a disaster last week, but we made it through. We're all good. Sudo OpenVPN, this one. And then so I don't have the points. I think we might have started this on a stream a long time ago because I vaguely remember the name. But it's been a long time and I don't have the points, so we'll all be all good. Yeah, double check the IP. This is it. All good. Yeah, sorry, let me let me bring this up and I'll show you. I'll pop it into God, how long does it take to load up Firefox? Let's go. Come on. You can do it, VM. Oh my god, what's going on? Stop trying to load the Kali homepage. It's useless. Alright, let's just come to Google. I would type it in the address bar, but it's probably just going to mess up because it's going so slow. And let's accept everything. Google, you can track everything. So, application security podcast. Yeah, it's this one. Security Jenny. Oh yeah, this one on the right. Chris Romeo, that's it. And he talks a lot at like OWASP conferences and stuff. So so yeah, this is quite a good podcast, I think. This is a good one to keep an eye on. Oops. I don't know what happened there. It just disappeared, but okay. Oh, here it is. Oh, hold on. I've got so many things open. Accept all the cookies all the time. There we go. So yeah, definitely give it a listen. See if you're interested. I think it's quite good. Covers a nice range of topics. All right. My VM has 8 gigs of RAM, yo. It's not the VM. It's just I have a lot of stuff running on my poor little laptop. So yeah, unfortunately, streaming and doing everything else is a bit too much for my laptop. So RAM isn't really the issue. I think it's just the number of CPU cores. I assume, but who knows? So actually, let's keep that open just in case we need it, and let's ping this machine. Looks like we're all good. So let's give this a scan. Let's just do nmap-a, and then output normal scan.initial, and we'll give that a second to run, and I'll come back and check into the chat. Whoops. Oh no, the chat moved when I was trying to highlight your message. I highlighted the wrong one. Okay, we're good, we're good. So try the box without looking at the write-up. Try it until I get stuck on a specific part. Look at the write-up for 1 second, and then carry on. Yeah, this is exactly how you should do it. And what I recommend is just set yourself a timer. So if you don't make like any progress within like 30 minutes, then look at the write-up. Because don't just be like, oh, I'm stuck. Now I look at the write-up. You actually want to just set yourself a bit of a timer just to make sure that you're like, you know, properly thinking it through and not just falling back on the easy option of doing the write-up. But yeah, this is exactly how I approach boxes and things like this. Because yeah, I don't really have time to spend a whole day on a box, if that makes sense. All right. So the room is called Gaming Server if you want to find it on TryHackMe. So it should be all good. Looks like 22 and 80. So let's just take a look and see what we can find. Ooh. We can play some games. House of Danak, Dragon Lore, and Myths of Droga. So there's an about / myths. Let's have a look at the about page. And what I'm going to do is, while we're just looking around, I'm just going to pop open a new tab and just fire up Fuff. User share derb. Let's just do common for now, I think. Whoops. Word lists. Derb. I think that should be okay. Maybe we can do big because we're going to leave it running for a little bit and see what happens. And then I'm just going to have a look at some of the links. Oh my god, we don't have Wappalizer installed. What? This is because this is a new VM, unfortunately. Oh, there's an uploads button. So we've got a dictionary and a manifesto. This is going to be something strange for sure. Oh, the Hacker Manifesto. What a classic. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this. Written January 8th, 1986 by the mentor. Before I was born. There you go. All right. And then we have this. This looks like a useful list of passwords. So let's just grab that for later on. And get this. That might save us some time. And then we've also got, we've got robots, we've got secrets. So, and then, /uploads. So it found the /uploads. Let's also take a look at /secrets. And we've got a secret key. Nice. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I didn't realize this was going to be quite so CTF-y, but it's all good. We probably have to crack this key using this list, is my assumption. So we're all good. So what do? We do SSH to John, secrets to like this. And then we do sudo John -- word list equals this, like this, like this. And then on my very slow VM, hopefully it doesn't take 10 years to find it. Yeah, oh, it's found it. Let me in. Classic password. Love it. Love a nice little let me in. But we don't actually, this doesn't help us because we don't know the username. So what we actually need to do, it's not in here, is it? No. So let's just vim notes. And then our password is let me in. I wonder if we have to brute force SSH for a user. Let's come back to here. Oh, there's a meme. Let's have a look at the meme. Oh my god. Not the meme I was expecting, but I don't really know what I was expecting, so all good. Let's just have a look around. Let's go to myths. There's lorem ipsum. Let's have a look at the source. Aha, there it is. So John, please add some actual content to the site. Lorem ipsum is horrible to look at. So probably John. So let's try SSH John at this target. And it's -i, isn't it? For no, yeah, -i. What did we call it? -i secret key. And then we didn't update the permissions to 600, but that's okay. And then we do let me in. Oh no. Hold on. There we go, we're in. Okay, so you have to actually update the permissions to get in. Otherwise, it doesn't actually let you lose the what's it called? The key. This is way too easy. I agree. I thought this was going to be more of a challenge, but you know, it's okay. It's all right to do an easy one every so often. I'm waiting on a like a mini PC, so I've ordered something from Mini's forum, which I'll show you quickly. So I'm going to build out a new Active Directory lab, because when I run my Active Directory lab on my laptop, it just grinds to a halt. It's horrible. So I've got like one of these new little mini PCs. I'm gonna put all of my Active Directory stuff on here, and then I'll do a series of AD live streams. I think maybe like attack and defense live streams. So we'll look at how we can create misconfigurations, how we can exploit them, and then how to detect and defend against them. They also have a Black Friday sale on, which is quite cool. But yeah, I've got one of these coming. Hopefully next week. We'll see. Might be the week after. I'm not sure. I emailed them and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're just waiting on parts." And I was like, "Yep, me too. Story of my life. I'm waiting on stuff." But yeah, all good. And here is our user. Thank you. We need those points. All right. How can we get good at hitting critical bugs? I would say, because to me, bug bounty, like the stuff I look for, like I don't look for normal stuff because people will have found it already. So even a lot of times I won't even look for things like SQL injection and stuff like that. Critical is a fun or interesting word because if you think about an application, most of the time I look at things like access control issues or logic issues that can lead to things because a lot of people don't bother to learn the application. They'll just see an endpoint and they'll fuzz it. And then if they don't find something, then they'll just move on. But if you understand the application and understand how the users are using it and understand like what impacts the user, and then you also look for bugs after understanding how the application works, I think you're going to be more successful. But honestly, I'm not like a full-time bug bounty hunter, so take my advice with a pinch of salt, of course. But all good. Is my gaming channel incoming? Yeah, I was thinking of starting up like a little iRacing channel because me and one of my friends we do play a little bit of iRacing here and there. So we were gonna do some fun stuff, but like I don't have time to play games consistently. It's just a thing every so often. So I'm not particularly good at games these days. I did lose a lot of my childhood to CS 1.6, but beyond that, I haven't been to I haven't been into too many games. Let me keep scrolling down. What's up, Just a Guy? Good to see you, as always. Thanks for dropping in. Let's upload linpeas and see what we can find. So here, let's come into what have we got here? No, I don't think I have linpeas. So let's go into here. Let's just make a directory called scripts, and let's go and find linpeas. This one, yeah, Carlos Palop. That's the one we want. Getting it from the official source is the way to go. Let me see if I can find. Wait, is there releases? Ooh. Here we go. Quick start. From GitHub. Oh, this just pulls it down, but I'm just gonna like grab this and then we can just wget and then so we're good. We've got the file. So I need my IP address, which is 10.11.45.32, and let's do python 3-m http.server. So we just open a little local server 80. Port 80 is already in use. Let's see what's okay. Let's get rid of this. As you can see, I've been doing again, once again, um, testing for the PJWT application. But let's just kill that. I'm not sure why the database isn't running, but it's all good. And let's run this again. So we run this, and then I've just totally forgotten my IP. So let's bring this back up, grab our IP address, and then just wget this / limpies.sh, and then we're all good. And then if we chmod-x, and let's run it. And then while that's running, I can answer a few more of your questions. Who is Paul Walker? Who is this person? I think you'll find Paul Walker looks like me and not the other way around. No, I have no idea. Who's Paul Walker? Let's Google. Do I look like this person? I mean, he doesn't like blind people with like how pasty white his skin is, because you know I'm quite like I don't get enough sun. He's an American actor. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's in the Fast and Furious. Gosh. Was he the one who died in the car accident? Poor chap if he did, unfortunately. But yeah, nice to have you on board. Thanks for dropping in for sure. Now I know who Paul Walker is, which is good. Oh, question from Don. How's it going, Don? Good to see you in the stream. How long might it take for an absolute newbie to get to the point of finding this box easy? I think, like, at least as far as I can tell, the initial shell was fairly straightforward. So I'd say if you did like a month or so of study, and you were following write-ups and things like that, there's nothing kind of particularly unique so far about this box. I'd say a month. Yeah, is probably a good time frame. It'd probably take you a little bit longer to find stuff and remember how to do things and stuff like that, because obviously once you've done a lot of boxes, you get a bit of intuition. But yeah, I think that's a fair time scale to be able to solve it. I've no idea what the PrivEsc looks like yet, so we'll find out soon. It might be really difficult, but all good. And sorry, there's another question that was thrown up. So limpies won't be detected. Yeah, so funnily enough, for some reason, as an industry, as a technology industry, we've completely dropped the ball on things like AV for Linux. It's bonkers that we don't have some kind of malware detection or standard protection on Linux servers. Number of Linux servers I see with literally just nothing on them, and then people are like, "Oh, Linux doesn't have malware." That's complete rubbish. If you go to any conference, for example, if you go to FirstCon, I went to Dublin. There's some crazy malware for Linux servers, and it is really hard to detect. And so you probably need to start using or thinking about using things like Wazir or XDR solutions or and things like this. But honestly, it's a massive failing of our industry, is that, like, especially Mac as well. Like, people don't install AV on Mac. Ridiculous, completely ridiculous. But that's my little rant and soapbox for the day. But yeah, most of the time not, unfortunately. I split the terminal before because I wanted to be able to see my IP address, and I was running the server here. So if I killed this, then we wouldn't still be running the server. So it's just a nice quick way to be able to find stuff rather than opening a new tab. Oh, sorry, I didn't highlight your question, but yeah, all good. Let's go. Okay, sorry, what are we doing? We're reading Limpies. All right, reading time. It's story time. Oh, nearly resized my VM. Let's not do that. Oh, I saw some yellow. That means some PrivEsc. But let's just scroll to the top quickly and just have a quick look through. All right, there it is. Okay. My prediction, the PrivEsc is either sudo or LXD. I think it's more likely going to be LXD because otherwise, why would it be here? This is like a Linux container. So we'll look this up and we'll have a look at what LXD and LXC is. So LXC is like the Linux container. LXD is based off LXC APIs, if I recall. Can't remember exactly. We'll do a little bit of research, figure out what it does and how it works. But my assumption is that because John has this LXD group, that this is the PrivEsc. And the reason I think that is because LXD, maybe by default, maybe always, is a root process. And basically, what you do to exploit it is you import an image to LXD, and we can do that. We have the permissions to do that because we're in the LXD group. And then you just mount the file system to your imported image or your container, and that basically gives us root over the mounted image. And everything in Linux is a file, so it's pretty straightforward to then be root. But let's have a quick look down before we dive into that. I'm going to have to do some reading because I can't remember how to do that PrivEsc off the top of my head. Looks like we have a slightly old kernel, lots of potential kernel exploits we could try, but that's probably not the intended way. So a quick look through here. This is us, which is fun. An Apache, so you can see the Apache starts as root, usually to bind to port 80, and then it drops privileges to dub data after. That's perfectly normal, so unfortunately this isn't an exciting finding, even if you have control over Apache. Let me keep scrolling down. Sorry, I find it hard to talk and read the output of linps or winps at the same time. 53, 22, 2280, nothing too crazy. This is just like DNS, right? And then, yeah, sudo LXD. So that's what we're going to look at. We're going to have a look at sudo first. We have the password for SSH, so it might be password reuse. We'll see. Nothing too exciting. All right, let's get on with it. Okay, so here we are. Yeah, we can see this here. And then we can try sudo -l. And let's just try the let me in. Yeah, so let me in isn't the account password. It's just the password for the key. Unfortunately, so we have no sudo. And let's just have a quick look at etc passwd. So we've got this. Doesn't look like there are any other users on the box. All right, and let's Google LXD PrivEsc, and we'll find hopefully some results. So we could go hack tricks, but actually hacking articles I like because you get like a full explanation, and I like to understand what's going on. Not to say that hack tricks is bad, but since I don't know the PrivEsc that well, I only kind of roughly know the theory. Hacking articles is a better place to start because here we get like, a full description of what's happening. So Linux container, LXC, often considered as a lightweight virtualization technology, something between chroot and completely developed virtual machine, which creates an environment as close as possible to a Linux installation, but without the need for a separate kernel. Yeah, pretty much the same as any container. The Linux daemon LXD is the lightweight container hypervisor. So LXD is building on top of a container technology, the LXC Linux container, which was used by Docker before, and it uses the stable LXC API to do all the container management behind the scenes. Adding REST API on top to add a much simpler, more consistent user experience. Nice. We don't need to really read about container technology. That's fine. We understand that. And And again, like this is hacking articles will tell you actually how to set it up locally. And in my opinion, you'll learn more about how attacks work by setting them up locally and then exploiting them rather than just doing like pre-built labs, if that makes sense. So, for example, setting up your AD network is going to be way more beneficial than just jumping into a pre-built AD network with a pre-built path where you're just basically learning the vulnerability, but you're not learning lots of other things. So, if you can, pre-built stuff is fine. CTFs are great, but building your own lab and setting up your own exploits and changing stuff and fixing stuff, that's where the true learning comes in. All right, so steps to be performed on the attacker machine. So this is our local machine. So we need to download build ipine on your local machine through the Git repository, and then we can execute the scripts. Okay, so we need to build an image, and then we import it, and then we should be good. So let's do this. Let's grab this. So let me come here, and then let's git clone this. This might take a few seconds. And then let's come into here, and we have this image. Hold on. Oh, we need to build. So let's /build alpine. Sudo. Good thing we're running on a virtual machine, so we can just run stuff as sudo and not worry too much about it. And hopefully that works. So while that's doing that, let me answer some more questions. Hey, this is awesome. Nice one. Good luck on your OSCP as well. OSCP is really good for building troubleshooting skills, I think, and kind of like understanding like a bunch of other attacks and solving issues and stuff. So I think it's definitely worth getting. Sounds really solid, like you're on the right path. That's awesome. Linux is perfectly safe. And people call me a heckler. Come on. Come on. Let me keep scrolling down. All right, so we should be. This should be a little bit convoluted. I think so. It should be all good. We're all good. All right. So this is here. So we've built this. Oh no, we actually already had an image to begin with. Looks like it's built as a second one. Did this came with the git clone, so 0139, but we just built 1258. So I'm not sure whether we actually needed to build a new image or not, but we did it anyway. We're just gonna follow the instructions. Maybe we'll dive into this a little bit later and have a closer look. So on running the command tar.gz, a file is created in the working directory, and then we need to transfer it to the machine. Okay, cool. So if where are we? We're in home here, so we can just, let's kill this and then cd into CTFs. Host this again from here. Oh wait, no, we need to be in. Wow, we could actually just do the full path, but all good. And then grab this 10.11.45.32, come back to our machine, and then just wget this /, and then let's grab this. Whoops. Paste. And there we go. So we've got this on the box. All right, nice. And then on the other hand, this is, okay, that's putting it in the temp directory, but we should be okay putting it into our home folder. And then after the image is built, it can be added as an image to LXD as follows. So let's copy this. And then here, so we have LXC image imports alpine. So we need to change the version here. Well, we need the correct file name, of course. So we can just come back here, hit tab and autocomplete. And then the alias here is my image. So I think we'll just keep that. We can probably call this whatever we want, but you know, there's no point in changing it to like cheesecake or something. And then we get a fingerprint. So it's imported. Awesome. That looks like it was successful. Alexi image list. Yeah, this is our Alpine version 3.18. And as you can see, the fingerprint here, so we've got 48B, we've got 48B, so we're all good. And gives us the size and some other info. All right, so we can initialize my image, and then the security.privileged equals true. So I presume this will mean that we can do cool stuff. This is probably something worth researching, just understanding what this privilege flag actually does if you're working with LXC. But I'm just going to copy and paste because why not? Creating ignites, and then config device add ignites my device disk source equals / path equals mount root. Okay, so here we're mounting. So the source is /, so the root of the host, and then we're gonna mount this to /mount /root, and then we're gonna do this recursively. Okay, cool. So that's all good. And then if we come back here, LXC starts ignites. And then let's drop into a shell on our thing. Okay, so we're roots, but if we ls to here, .bash history. Oh, do we need to go to /mount /root? So this is where the file system is mounted. It's because we've created a container, and all of this is the container because it's like a lightweight Linux system, and hopefully our actual host machine is mounted here, which looks like it is. And then if we cd into root again, we can see, yeah, here's roots.txt, which is nice. And then we can grab this and gobble the all of those points. Yes. Okay. All right. We're all good. And then, you know, we can do things like, we can probably like, whoops. Let's do // etc shadow. Ooh, root password doesn't have one. We can see things like hashes. We could add a user. So like if we wanted persistence, we could then add a user to this with root privileges, or we could do like tons of other things because we are roots basically, or we have root privileges on the file system. So, and like I say, everything in Linux is a file. So this is pretty much game over for this nice little server. So yeah, good job. That was more straightforward than I thought. I thought the LXC would be a little bit trickier. I think the attack itself is not like, obviously like here, it's quite easy to pull off. It's probably a little bit more complex than that, but we just obviously got the privilege of copying and pasting everything. Let's try and understand this a little bit more. Does this just make it a privileged container rather than running it as a lower user? So privileged containers are defined as any container where the container UID is 0. Okay, so that's what the privileged flag is it sets the UID to 0. In such containers, protection of the host, prevention and escape is entirely done through mandatory access control. And then unprivileged containers are safe by design. The container UID 0 is mapped to an unprivileged user outside of the container. So like if we had like data or John or something like this, then we're all good. So yeah, interesting. That's basically what the privileged flag does, which is useful to know. Maybe 2024, something like this. 2024 top 1%. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll get there. Can I show you how to add a user? Yeah, of course. I can't remember how to do it off the top of my head, but if we, okay, so let's come in here. So if we cat etc passwd, usually what I do is I just take something like this, and I'm just going to come into like mousepad for a second. And then what we want to do is, how do I do this again? Open SSL, is it -L1 or something? Hold up. I'm gonna Google it because I can't remember the exact command. So Linux PrivEsc add user etc passwd. And we'll find, yeah, let's go to hacking articles. This one has a good one. I just can't remember the OpenSSL command to generate a new password, although you could probably leave it blank. Yeah, this is it. Oh, you can just do it without, or do you? I thought you needed to pass a salt or something like this. Okay, should be fine. So password, let's just do let me in, for example, and we get this password, and then we add this to, whoops, where's our, here. So this X here, right, what this means is on old Linux systems, etc passwd, the password used to be stored inside the etc passwd folder, but then they realized how insecure that was because etc passwd is world readable. And so this means that the password is stored in the shadow file, which obviously can only be accessed by the shadow, by roots. The shadow group and roots, or the shadow user and group roots. Can't remember. I don't think shadow's a user, so it must be the shadow group and the user roots. And so we can just add this as Bob, for example, and then we should be good. We don't need to change. I don't think we need to change anything else, do we? No, all good. And then we do, as we can see on here, we just come back to here, and then we can just like echo. Don't overwrite your etc passwd file because everything, your whole system will break. So I think we can just do this. So mounts roots etc passwd to the end, and then if we cat this again, you can see we have the user Bob, but the UID and the GID is 0. So if we su Bob, no, we can't. Can we do it from here? Maybe we need to be on the system. So let's SSH back in as John. I might have done something wrong, but let's try this quickly. Where's the box? Oh no. Where's the box IP? It's disappeared. Hold up. There we go. I just had to refresh the page. John at CD CTFs. This one. SSH-I. Secret key. John at this. Let me in. And then if we su Bob, let me in, and here we are root. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh, you can, yeah, there we go. Now you can see what I did. So we just logged in as John, and then we just switched to Bob, and we used the password that I set when we were doing this here. So we just did, we used OpenSSL to generate the hash for the password. So this is like the type of password, so $1, and you'll see like $2, $3, different types or different formats. And then I just set the password, let me in, and then we echo that to etc passwd. So let me hide the this quickly. So we've got the user Bob with this password, but this UID in this group, and this is the root this is the home directory and the default shell or the environments, and then we come in, log in as John once again on the local machine, because remember that when we try and do it in here, we're inside the container. And so this etc passwd is not being read by the container. It's just mounted as a file, so we have access to it, but it's not going to use it to like see the users. For if we do like cat etc passwd, you can see that the actual container etc passwd is different, but then we log back in and we're good to go. So this is how you can add like a little bit of persistence, or just add an extra user, or whatever you want to do really. This is quite useful. Nice little trick, and then we're all good. All right. Let me take a few more questions before we wrap up. Sorry, that was a little bit quicker than usual. What do I want for Christmas? Good question. What do I want for Christmas? I'm very excited about my JavaScript for Hackers book that's arriving today, tomorrow, or later tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not sure. No idea. That's you guys can suggest me something for sure. Just for everybody to be, world peace. Everybody to be happy and to be nice to each other. That would be awesome. My cat's been a little bit, a bit sick recently, so I hope my cat is healthy and happy. That's my main thing. That's what I want most of all. A drone, yeah, maybe a drone would be fun. Once I finish the IT course, the IoT course, I am planning on getting myself a little drone to do some research, or to try and find some vulnerabilities. And it also means that I can play around a little bit with the Flipper Zero as well, and do some cool stuff. So I'll probably start with a very small indoor drone just to see what what I can do, and then later on, I might invest in something a little bit more. A little bit bigger. So how are you able to add a user to the mounted image of the container? I thought it was just, so it's not a copy, it's mounted, so it still exists and you can still interact with it. Think of it like a file share. Your things that you change on the mount exist in the host. So it's not a copy, if that makes sense. It's like a live working thing, more like a symlink rather than a copy. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, so anything we do to the mounted files is reflected on the actual files, which is cool. Makes this attack very nice. Otherwise, we'd be limited to just like stealing the hash from like the shadow file, for example, and cracking it, or looking for things like hard-coded credentials and stuff like that elsewhere on the system that we didn't have access to, if that makes sense. And a Lambo. I don't know. I feel like, I would love to drive a Lambo for sure. That would be a lot of fun. What would be my car of choice though? It would have to be an Aston Martin, I think. Yeah, definitely an Aston Martin. That would be nice. If anybody wants to donate me one, by all means. All good. All right, let's take 3 more questions. So here's one. Okay, so if you're using an intermediate machine to pivot into the internal network, we need to be root on that pivoting machine, or lower level access will work too. So lower level access should be fine. Like, so for example, if we're outside the network, let me switch to my different thing. Okay, so if we're outside the network and then we get a low level foothold on an internet facing service, let's say with www data, but that but we can still like port scan another internal service. We could still like launch an exploit, or we can still do other things. Obviously, it's better if we're more privileged because then we have more options. Like potentially we can like install tools on the target. Although I don't know, a lot of people wouldn't want to do that. They don't want to touch the disk, which is totally fine as well. But port forwarding, you're just rerouting traffic, so you don't necessarily have to be privileged, but it does help. And sometimes you won't be able to port forward, or you won't be able to run things like Chisel, for example, or you might not be able to do port forwarding on a low privileged user, depending on what their privileges actually are. So sometimes you'll need to escalate, but I think most of the time you don't need to. I think you're all good. Yeah, so let's talk about the new set for a second. So there's a stream on Friday, same time, 12 EST, with all of the details, and I can finally happily announce that we're releasing our junior web application tester certification. It's junior practical junior web tester is the official name. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I really, really hope you all enjoy it. The team, myself and the team, we've all put a lot of hard work into it. There's a lot of people been doing the QA, giving great feedback. We've updated it, and it's been good. It's been really, really good, and I'm really excited to see what the community makes of it. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. All right, let me take one more question. Oh, I can see this question about Frida and Android. This is not my area of expertise, so we need Aaron to come on here and answer this question, but I'll give it a stab. So in Android dynamic analysis, how Frida scripts work? So as far as I'm aware, Frida's scripts like hook in, right? So you can modify the flow of an application. So for example, if you have a line of code that says if admin equals 1, you can hook into that and then like skip over that, or you can feed it like different data or something like this. But honestly, that's about as much as I know about Frida. I have had to play with it in the past, but it's been a long time. It's been like 2 years since I did anything like this. So yeah, I'll hopefully we'll get Aaron on here at some point, and he'll be able to answer all of your iOS, Android questions, because he's like really, really good at all that stuff. Of course, really, really knowledgeable and a great teacher as well. So. Apologies, I can't answer your question like super in depth, but there you go. Tibbs says the cert is easy. I mean, yeah, I think it's to be honest, I tried to make it realistic and also not just like, you can't just scan and win. For example, although you can use any tools you want, you can use like Web Suites, and you can use automated tools, and you can use like anything you want, anything outside of denial of service. And yeah, it's designed to be like, this is a pen test for you to learn about pen testing, learn about the process, and also all of the vulnerabilities in there are covered in our practical bug bounty course. A lot of them are also covered in the PEH, for example, as well. So yeah, all good. Yeah, this is IPSEC has some great videos. So if he's got a video on Frida, I really like the way IPSEC explains things. So his thought process is always really well put together and good to follow. So definitely check out IPSEC if you want to learn more about anything, really. He's got so many great videos. All right, let me take one last question before we wrap up. How does one mitigate Frida? Okay, so once again, even though it's not my area of expertise, so I did some training with a guy called Sven. I'm gonna butcher his surname, like Schneila. He's one of the authors of the OWASP mobile ASVS. Really, really smart guy, super nice guy. Does a lot of training at the OWASP conferences. And honestly, like the way he explained it to me was that that you can't actually beat the reverse engineers when it comes to mobile applications. You can slow them down, and you can become less desirable than the next application, but you can't stop a reverse engineer entirely, because everything is it's like having client side, right? Everything is there for them to pull apart. So there are ways to make using things like freedom more difficult, but there is no 100% mitigation, if that makes sense. So that's the sad bottom line, I suppose, if that makes sense. So we need to design our applications with that in mind, and decide what needs to be in the app, what needs to be in the back end, and the servers and things like this. All right. Thank you very much for everybody who joined in. Always great to see you all. And obviously, Tibbs is streaming tomorrow. So tune back in for Web App Wednesday. Otherwise, I'll see you all on Friday for our course certification announcement stream. Thanks, everyone.